we're good. I'm like, okay, I see how this goes.
Yep, she just
No,
used.
no, you guys are free to elect her as president.
I was gonna say,
No, the person who's not here gets to be the secretary. I learned that 8 years ago.
secretary.
How do you think I became the secretary? I was just telling Annie, I missed that last time we did it 8 years ago, and then the one time I asked about it, Mark goes, "We're good. We don't need to do that." I'm like, "Wait, what are you talking about?"
Do not miss a meeting.
No, don't miss a meeting.
You're just saying. I got you, don't worry.
I can give you.
There's the next one. I got one printed, so.
Yep. We got a broadcast. Just turn your microphone so I don't have to hurt us.
Are you gonna yell at me if I ask them about dates for a future meeting? So, before we start, we're looking to have interviews for the sergeant position in July. And we're sort of limited on dates. I'm just wondering if there's any big vacations planned or anything like that in July.
July 7th through 14, I'm gone. I'll be an elected official.
Nice.
And we're doing job descriptions, that the village board wanted some changes, so you have to review them, so. July, they wanted to put that before July, they wanted the handbook.
I believe Jen was using time more informationally of what the changes might be, unless there's any main objection, she'll probably continue to go forward. But I don't use Paul motion or anything.
I'm gone the 1st through the 7th.
Chief, I'll be gone the 1st to the 7th of July.
Stay away from those dates. July 10th or July 17th or 18th.
It's good for me. Those all work for me.
I'm having a massage on the 7th, so maybe I might be worth it.
July 10th, I'll be,
Huh?
10th I'll be in Alaska, and then the 17th I have the fair.
Oh yeah, 10th is on the 7th.
Is that 18?
18th are both out.
I have Washington County Fair.
Okay. We'll try again.
15, 16 is fine.
I'm trying to balance the commissioner schedules and the 5 applicants' schedules. Trying
Yeah.
to do it during times when they're not on duty, or if they are, then we have other people cover the road for them because
Yeah.
it's gonna happen.
Yeah, 16th is not good for me, if that matters.
Okay. I'll follow up in an email.
Okay.
Maybe August.
All right, I'm gonna get YouTube up and going. So no boo-boo.
YouTube.
If we live stream the city meetings, we will turn it off for closed session though, for village meetings.
Okay.
The little microphone, cause that's how it,
So I got to push the button to talk then.
if it's green, you're good.
So make it red.
Okay. Make it red.
If it's,
Then
gr-
you're just gonna see me bopping around.
oh, if it's, it's,
It's red.
on.
It's
Okay,
muted. Red is muted.
so,
Right now you're on.
okay,
So right
Now
now
I'm on.
I am off.
Yep,
Yeah.
trust me, I've seen the worst. There's nothing you can do, I have that same. Not a challenge.
Before they go up.
I do not.
Are we live?
We are live. Whenever we wanna call to order.
All right. Call the meeting to order. It is 6 p.m. Welcome, everybody. everybody met Annie. It's my first time meeting Annie.
The election queen.
So, yeah, I guess, if there's nothing else there, we can move on to the third item. Sorry. I guess the third, item here is election of president for the Police and Fire Commission. This is a 2-year term. Do we have anybody that would be interested in doing that?
We're short one person?
Jill
Huh?
is excused today.
Oh, well then they should be able. That's how that works, right?
I would throw my hat in the ring for that, being
For the president?
being that I've been here the longest. I'd
Sure.
be happy to step into that role.
Would someone like to make the motion?
I'll make that nomination.
I'll second that.
Second. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay. Do we have anybody, I guess the next item on the list here would be election of vice president. Do we have anybody that would be interested in
I
serving
suppose I
that?
could do that.
Doug? Okay. Nominate you, Doug.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, Doug. Thank you, Doug. And next item, election of secretary for the Police and Fire Commission. Again, a 2-year term. Do we have any nominations? Anybody interested? That place, that is formerly vacant now.
See, this is why I volunteered to be the vice president.
I see. Okay.
When you're 75, you've been all of these different places. Oh, I want to do that.
Well, I don't necessarily want to nominate Jill for that in her absence. I guess we could table that until the next meeting. Can we do that? Unless there's somebody else that's willing to step in and do that. I mean, I guess I will speak to, it is a matter of taking notes and keeping track of who's been,
Annie, you're gonna be here every.
Modifying
every
these
meeting
things.
we have?
I will be here to take the notes and the minutes and prepare all of that, so it will take off some of those duties that have historically fallen
well,
on the
we-
secretary position.
we'll probably be talking about that here on item, I don't know, we talked about discussing the procedures here on number 7. So,
You certainly can motion to table until those revisions are made, and it can be revisited at the next meeting.
so unless.
Make a motion to
I guess,
table it temporarily.
okay. Do I have a
I'll
second?
second the motion.
All in favor of tabling until the next meeting?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, I guess we're gonna table that. Next item on the agenda, approval of minutes for the April 23rd Police and Fire Commission meeting. Everybody get a chance to look those over?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approved. All right, item number 7, staff update and discussion of pending policies and procedures related to police and fire commission duties. The packet was sent out along with, or I guess via email, If there, anybody looked that over and has any thoughts on that, I guess we'll be open for discussion at this point. You mentioned you have a couple. Sorry, Aaron, you mentioned.
I'll take over from here. So at the village board meeting, we brought our job descriptions in front of the village board to go into our handbook. However, there were some recommended changes that the village president felt that should be changed. So I was just gonna run it by you to see what you thought. I just quickly, I was just informed of this, so I'm a little behind, but I do have job descriptions for myself and the assistant chief. And if you just give me like 2 minutes, I can get them to you so that you can look it over real quickly. Those two are ready. Basically, in, under the license and certification requirements, for the chief, it recommended 10 years full-time firefighter experience. They recommended changing that to 10 years full-time experience preferred. So just the word preferred put in there. They felt that there are battalion chiefs that would be qualified for the assistant chief's job or possibly the chief's job. And we didn't want to rule them out. So it was just a recommendation from the board. If you so choose to proceed with that, that's great. If not, and you want to revisit this again, we can do that and make a decision at a later time. So if you look under license and certification requirement, for the fire chief, it says high school diploma or equivalent, bachelor's degree in a related field, 10 years of full-time firefighter experience, 3 years experience at a rank of captain or higher. So those are the areas that they're looking at changing. It's the Police and Fire Commission's position to be able to change that, or you can leave it the same. It's totally up to you how you would like to proceed.
What was the, and I'm sorry, what was the proposed change there?
Under 10 years full-time firefighter experience,
Okay,
like our paid on-call firefighter or battalion chiefs, some have like 20 to 25 years in, and they felt that they were being disqualified and they could be qualified to do that job, but according to this, they are not. Does that make sense?
So there's two of them here, both of them for fire chief. One has the preferred after the bachelor's degree, but there's not.
The preferred after the bachelor's degree is the assistant chief. They're required to have an associate degree. The word preferred was put in there.
So what you gave us is what is currently.
Correct. This is what the Police and Fire Commission approved a while back,
Okay,
actually before I started. What we did is took these and put them into the village's formatting. So that's what triggered all this.
all right, so just highlight those changes again. So you want to change the experience.
Yep, 10 years full-time firefighter experience preferred.
Oh, just add the preferred to it as well.
Correct. And correct me if is that all that was?
My
Annie?
understanding was it was adding the preferred, so it would allow them the ability
for
to,
both of these.
yeah, to look into more candidates and wouldn't restrict them in future hiring positions.
Thank you.
Is there that many candidates out there willing to, that have 10 years of experience, willing to transfer to, say, this department or any other department?
I think you get a lot of captains and, battalion chiefs that are full-time that are looking for that next step for that chief spot, and assistant chief as well.
You're saying at 10 years it would disqualify those guys currently?
Because it says,
Less than 10 years would disqualify.
it doesn't disqualify any of the full-time firefighters. So if you look
Oh.
at West Bend, but
Oh, okay, the
someone
part-time.
that's in Jackson and is a battalion chief as a paid on call for 25 years, it disqualifies them the way it's written.
Okay, okay, okay.
So if you're okay with preferred for any of the paid on call to be able to be put in for this or part-time people, that would allow them to do so.
I just have a question. When you have something like that, and you have a candidate that does have, the degree, okay? And now you got the candidate that doesn't, but says, well, yeah, he qualifies because that's kind of a, I had a general one time told us that you just make sure you're qualified for the damn job, and then I can help people. If you ain't qualified, I can't help you. So when you put preferred in there, that's almost like, well, maybe, and that's not a good answer. Well, maybe. But I do understand the hook for it to get more people in.
Well, we all know that it's harder and harder to find.
Yeah, so I just had that to say, I'm sorry.
Then the next bullet point with regards to the 3 years of experience of a ranking captain or higher, it doesn't specify whether it's full-time or part-time, so just 3 years experience, so that opens the door to a part-time, paid on-call, firefighter to be able to qualify under that provision.
Under that one, it would, yes. It's pretty common for, the 10 years experience, full-time experience for a chief, that I've seen around, as well. Not so much assistant chief. I've seen that been dropped down. However, like you said, the job, there's not a lot of people out there for the job as well, so.
Yeah, I guess I don't necessarily seem to have an issue with it from a standpoint of it does open up the pool a little bit. However, it doesn't mean that that person's gonna get the job. It just allows them to apply for it.
Allows them play.
If there's an individual, a candidate that has 10 or more years of experience, that will play itself out in the interview process. So, I guess just in the way that we are right now in public service and trying to get qualified applicants, to be able to capture a pool, might be advantageous.
I was thinking, I was for it for the assistant chief. I'm not sure how I feel about it for the chief. But,
I can make an argument for both ways.
right, yeah, no, I could see it both ways. It's just putting it out there. I don't know, any other thoughts? Does anybody want to make a motion on this?
I'll make a motion to accept the recommended language change in the job description for fire chief as presented.
And battalion chief? I'm sorry, not battalion chief, and assistant chief?
Yeah.
Okay, so adding preferred to both, for the 10 years of experience?
Second that.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? No? All right. Just make a note here. I don't know if you need me to make a note.
I gotcha.
Got it, all right.
Do you have anything else for
love
staff
this.
update?
I don't have anything for staff up.
Anything else? Ryan?
Just under number 7, so I believe this is where we're doing our annual review, under our new rules
Yep,
for the, standard operating procedures for the PFC that we passed last year. We agreed every May we would have our, organizational meeting, review it, and, make any changes.
all
If,
right.
if necessary.
Well, I'll open up the floor to discussion on anything here. I read through, I didn't see anything that jumped out at me in the duties and the hiring practices and all that. I guess I had some questions as far as it relates on page 3 to the internal procedures, you know, I guess the duties of the commissioners, to make sure we have clarified that. And I wasn't sure if all this was still part of the, I guess we took some of this stuff from other villages as well, and I want to make sure that these are actually things that we're doing, or these are the responsibilities that we have. I guess I'll just, under the president, the two I was questioning was, I guess, and I don't know, it's probably just never come up in my time on the commission, so issue subpoenas to compel the attendance of witnesses, which shall be served in the manner of subpoenas in the circuit court. I presume that is a thing that that's,
Was that, from what I
Important to
remember
be-
from last time, something that's directed to be done, we don't actually issue the subpoena, or
yeah,
Right, it'd be done through the,
our
Directed,
legal
or just-
people from the village do that.
exactly.
okay,
We
all right.
just- As a police and fire commission, we have the authority to
Authority
issue
to
that, and that comes through you, so.
All right, I just wanted to clarify that because I don't know that it's ever happened in the time I've been here, so, yeah, yeah.
It's not bad, it's not a bad thing.
So, all right, just clarifying that, and then preparation of the meeting agenda. Now, is that, I guess, Annie, I'll look to you, is that something you've been doing with Mark over the time, or is it just something you do?
I came in after Mark, just before his resignation, I would say, and did not have the chance to prepare one for him. However, such as this one, I got my direction from Chief Swaney and Chief Oskill on what items that needed to come before you all, and I prepared the agenda and posted
Okay.
it for you.
So I guess I would ask, do we need to change that, or, you know, prepares in concert with police, fire chiefs, or, you know, change the language of that to make it more, I guess, in line with what is actually done?
How it's actually working, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure, and certainly, I mean, as the president, I can run the agenda by you before posting, just to ensure there's nothing you need added or struck from it. So I'm more than happy to do the preparation, then final approval falling on the president.
That's the intent of the language here, that the president has the authority over the agenda.
okay.
Who physically types it out doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and then again, I didn't know if I was kind of thinking, look at this two ways. One of, okay, I'm thinking about putting my name in the hat for this tonight. And two, is this something that Mark did that I just never knew about? And so if it's, maybe it's just a matter of changing the language to,
Yeah, usually Chief and I would talk it over.
That's what I
And then we
figured
would bring
happened.
it to you, and, yeah, we actually did all the work for you before. It didn't really, you didn't have any say in it at the time. Now she's here and can do the agenda, which is great,
okay,
so.
That's how all municipalities work. There are no village presidents or city mayors that actually physically do it.
Yeah.
They just have the control. over
that's
it.
what I saw here. And I just, so it, you know, approves the final agenda or prepares to, or
I don't think it needs to
wanna-
be changed.
we don't need to change it?
I was just wondering too, it talks about preserving the evidence of hearings,
What's under the secretary?
Yeah, we'll get,
Our secretary.
we'll get down to that.
and keep records in that same thing is the book, let's say it says there's a book of all the facts, which I'm thinking is the minutes, okay? Does that get kept in a separate file, or is there a paper copy made, 3 holes punched in it, and put in a binder?
So all minutes for a municipal government are kept indefinitely. They are records that cannot be destroyed. Here we do have physical copies we retain as well as digital at this point.
Okay, okay.
All right, well, let's go to the secretary then, because there's several things here that would never came up for me, so I'm conducting all correspondence of the commission. That has been done by the village clerk, to the best of my knowledge. So we leave that or strike that?
So I would say leave it because they have the authority to give that authority over to somebody to do that, they're delegating it virtually. So the duty falls under their purview, however, they are now delegating it to Andy to say, send all this stuff out. So, again, this is a very common language that I've seen on these areas where somebody has those duties, however, it's being delegated to another person within staff to be able to then send it out. So,
So I would propose we add maybe delegated to staff at the commissioner's discretion, something like that. I don't know, maybe it's just mincing words for me, but
I mean, some of it is statutory language. It was all reviewed by our legal counsel,
okay,
and much of it is just responsibilities of the office, right? So it's
Okay.
not what do you technically, physically have to do, it's just what authority does your office have? Like, Annie can't send out correspondence on your behalf without
Yeah.
the commission's approval.
okay. All right, well, if I'm,
yeah, and I see where you're coming from.
yeah,
It's exactly the
I'm used to
language of
writing,
it.
I'm coming from an engineering background where I write work instructions, and when I write a work instruction, this is what you're expected to do. And I look at this and I go, well, this is what I'm expected to do, and I haven't done any of this, and so I
Right.
was like, well,
Yeah, like number 5, receive notice of appeals, decisions, disciplinary hearings. They're not like coming to our house and
Right.
we're not receiving them. They're coming into the village and that's the receipt. But, you know, they're the ones that are, because they're the secretary, they're the responsible
Okay.
for all the documentation of the police and
so
fire.
we're saying some of these things could just be delegated, but based on the language that was developed originally with village council, probably shouldn't mess with that.
Yep.
Agreed.
Okay. Well, in that case, then I will table any other further discussion that I had marked on here because it sounds like it's gonna be the same thing.
With some of the duties, yeah.
With the duties, basically, yeah, that was really the only questions I had were related to the duties and, as far as keeping a minute book and, I realize we have them all stored electronically and that's what we've done, so. Okay, well, I will, I guess, yield my discussion any further on this. Does anybody have anything from further inside here that they would want to discuss or edits or changes or concerns?
I did not see anything, but from being the new guy and not being part of procedural, I'd yield to the chiefs. Is there anything that you have seen in anything that you would like changed, altered?
No, this is really our first test, and we've got a lot of them this first year with promotional processes and hiring processes. So, so far we've followed what it's prescribed and it's worked well. Not recommending any changes.
On the fire side, the only difficult thing I've noticed for us is when we hire a paid on call, we're supposed to notify you, so if we don't have a meeting for 4 or 5 months, to notify you 4 or 5 months after they're hired is difficult, so I don't know if you have any suggestions on that portion.
What section is that in?
So it'd be section 5. Where is this? Appointment shall be made by the fire chief with notification to the police and fire commission. So it's appointments. It would be section 5, C, 1.
I guess my question.
Page 13.
Yep. C1. I guess for me, my question would be is, does that notification need to take place in a physical PFC meeting, or can it be done electronically through email?
I would say that would be your discretion unless Annie has anything on,
I would think that would be
Legal
more
side.
than sufficient.
Yeah, I would think an email should be sufficient.
I think so. So,
so I really wouldn't have to change anything, but it's just
Yeah.
how I notify you.
Because there's a record then at that point, if you emailed all of us and said, hey, just so you know, we appointed this or hired this person, then.
Okay.
All right, well then in that case, I would move that we continue using the rules as they are with no changes.
good.
Second,
I'll second that.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. All right, thank you all. All right, if, I would move to take us to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation, data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises the responsibility.
I'll make that motion to go into closed session.
I'll second it.
And then I will take a roll vote because it is going into closed session.
All in favor?
No, we just gotta take a-
I'll take a roll vote.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Wentland,
Yes.
Mr. Latz,
Yes.
Mr. Elkey,
Yes.
Mr. Myers.
Yes.
4-0, motion passes.
If I may, before you start talking about the fire department, does everyone have the interview sheets for the lieutenant tonight? Otherwise, I can run and make copies quickly.
We can definitely.
I got one.
Okay.
Choose them.